At any moment now. There we go.
Yeah.
What's going on, friends? A little bit, because we all got bogged down this week. The Monday day, but we'll be back for Monday this coming week on Twitch. So fear not. This is out of the ordinary, but I think this is probably necessary for this week's worth of watching. How about you? You feel that? How do you feel about this week?
I think, like I said, like 3 minutes ago, I think it's gonna be a quick one this week. There's not a lot of substance to the things we viewed. I think.
I'm dragging you down to hell.
That's a good movie. We should watch Drag Me to Hell.
No. Did we have any news going down?
I feel like there was stuff, but if it's not enough for me to remember, I'm saying fuck it. I mean, I think the big news was Marvel pushed Avengers up a week.
Was it the big news? Because I feel like the whole Fox and frickin' Marvel deal is going capsizing, and it's not going to happen.
No, I think it's just like Fox is still working until it gets done.
Really? Because they just announced movies through like 2020, wasn't it?
Sure. That's 2 years still.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like, I guess it feels to me like the thing was a lot more pushed through, and like they were just waiting to tell everybody that they've been working on this maybe a couple of years, but I don't know.
No, I think it's probably something along the lines of anything Fox has in the pipeline, they won't be able to kill. That makes sense? Like, we'll still sell you everything for $20 billion or whatever it was, and we still get the profit on the back end of these 3 X-Men movies we had in production. You have to agree to let them go through, and we'll still get the back end rights on it. Like, something like that. So they get extra money in the end for... Because they can't sit and wait for this deal to go through. Otherwise, if it takes another year and a half, then they have nothing bringing revenue in through film rights.
That makes sense. So looking back on our chats, did you want to say anything more about Black Panther? Because I know you wanted to bring up the suit and its absorption facts.
Nah, I was just like, oh, we had such a big discussion, I forgot little cool things, and so no, I still need to see it again. I've been holding off because it's doing so well. I don't want to. I just hate crowded theaters.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna revisit it once we see it again. Like I kind of want to see it a couple more times, but it's just been ruminating for the last 2 weeks, and like I'm ready to see it again. I think it was a pretty impactful movie that I think I'd be cheating myself if I saw it before right now. Like I just needed to let everything digest, so I can go at it. Yeah. Joss Whedon quits Batgirl movie.
Which I still am waiting for, like the tell-all that comes out in 10 years around like Justice League and what WB was doing there. Because remember a few months ago there was the rumor that like Warner Brothers didn't even want to make a Batgirl movie. They just threw it at Joss as a way to get him to come on and do Justice League. But then the rumor was, like, when they announced it originally, it was Joss pitched this idea of Batgirl to them. They loved it so much that they said, yeah, we'll do it. And then he's like, I don't have a story. Well, what did you fucking pitch them if you didn't have a story? So I wonder what the actual story is and if we'll ever get it. Because, I mean, we finally
at this point.
Oh, good. I was going to say.
No, you by all means.
Oh, I was going to say at this point, because it's finally coming out that I think it was just a couple weeks ago that that it finally came out that they fired Snyder. That he didn't leave. Like, the shit did happen with his family, but WB fired him, and they kept it all under wraps. So, and that finally
I didn't
came
hear
out.
about that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. That's pretty interesting. I feel like it's more that Whedon's just fucking tired of working on blockbusters that he gets so much shit on for. Like, all he wants to do is fucking make movies and tell stories, and it seems like nobody's ever going to be satisfied. Like, you're always going to have a pretty good chunk of people that are just full of hate. And
No,
I think he's just tired of that shit.
I'm sure that's part of it too, but I'm like, I don't buy the story that he pitched it and they said, yeah, let's do it. And then he came out 6 months later and was like, I don't have a story. Yeah. Like, I just don't buy the way they're selling it. Because then, yeah, after Justice League, there was the multiple rumors of, like, they didn't want to make it. And then there was the rumors that Joss was going to leave because of all the hate that was coming after Justice League. And then there was rumors that WB was going to fire him because of all the hate after Justice League. It's like, there's 3 stories that all could be true. But I don't buy I wanted to do this, but I don't have a story. Sorry. Because the main thing, the real super easy thing would be like, great, you don't, because I saw a ton of it on Twitter when, like, the story broke that, like, all these women writers and, like, comic writers and stuff was like, I have a Batgirl story. I'll write it. Like, let Joss direct, whatever. But, like, I have a story. We can do this. And they've just shelved it indefinitely. They're like, we're not going to do it now.
Well, the DCEU is in such disarray. Like, I think they still don't know what the hell they want to do. And, like, they have deadlines to hit with movies, but at this point, they're, like, hoping Aquaman does well. And, like, everything's just up in the air. Like, I don't know. The whole Batfleck shit is just annoying at this point. I mean, it was annoying half a year ago, but the more time that passes that we don't get any information about a Batman movie, and, like, Comic-Con's a couple months away, and, like, I bet you they do the same song and dance they did last year, and it's just gonna... Like, at this point, I don't care to see DC movies. Like, I'm only seeing them because there's nothing really else happening. But, like, yeah, I mean, I didn't mind Justice League. It was fun, but I wasn't anticipating like I was Black Panther. Like, Black Panther was something I've been living for, like, this last half a year, so.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have no interest in seeing them. Like, but I saw Suicide Squad, and I saw BVS. Like, I've seen the worst of what you can do, hopefully. Like, maybe it'll get better, but you're not bringing me in because you're exciting me. You're bringing me in because I'm a fucking comic nerd, and I'm going to go see this shit.
That makes sense. So, you want to get into talking about everything we saw?
Yes.
So, we didn't have an episode of Black Lightning because it came out on President's Day, and I think they just skipped a week.
Yes.
Then we watched Alienist. We finished Mosaic, so we watched 2 episodes. No, yeah, didn't you watch an episode of Alienist?
Nope.
Well, we don't have to worry about Alienist, so.
It's not my fault. I really want to watch it, but the app will not play it.
Oh.
Like, I'm still struggling with the app. Like, it's still doing that thing where, like, it'll play for like 10 seconds and then stutter and just play sound and no video. And I know it's not my internet because everything else plays fine. And the fucking ads on the TNT app play fine. But when the show plays itself, it won't play. So I'm struggling. Well, sucks because, like, I was into that show and I want to get caught up. I'm 2 episodes behind now, but hopefully I'll get caught up over the weekend. I'm gonna try and re-download the app and maybe throw it on my tablet and try there, but it's just not running on my Fire Stick right now.
Right on. So we're gonna skip game night because you didn't see that, right?
Well, you can tell me about it. It's fine.
I want to wait till you see it. Because if you're gonna see it, we'll just wait for the discussion. But we started season 1 of Legion. Finished off Mosaic. Watched the final half of the first season of Tick, and then Mute on Netflix. So,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be split in a different way than you're thinking right now on these this week.
It's interesting.
So, where do you want to? Where would you like to start?
Let's start with the Tick.
Okay. What'd you think?
My biggest problem with this is the way they released it. Like, splitting the season was really dumb because I jumped back in on episode 6 or whatever the first one back was, and I was like, wait, what happened? I'm completely lost from 4 months ago or whenever when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a few episodes to get back into the groove because it didn't feel like a split like a season. Like, I've watched enough TV that I know what it's like for a season to end and then wait 6 months for a new season, but to like split it in half and 4 months later come back, it just killed any flow I had and had to reacclimate to the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh yeah, the Terror's back. Okay, sure. Wait, who's this? What are we doing? There's a lot of that at the beginning. But other than that, like, it's fine. Like, I don't think anything's changed since the first half of the season. Like, I still think it's funny and stuff works in it, but I don't think it's quite elevated to that point of like satirical like comedy that it could reach. Like, it's very it's close, but it's not quite there.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it traded some of that off for trying to have a message near those last few episodes.
Yeah.
But all in all, I love the Tick. Like, that show works for me on so many levels that, like, now watching through it, like, I'll probably just put it on just while I'm working and drawing stuff. Like, just because it's just a ridiculously fun show just to have on. Like, the actors did great. I wish, like, the only thing I would want is like a little bit longer episodes. But for what these, like, the episodes themselves are perfect. Right time, right flow. Like, there's no real filler per se. And at the end, everything wraps up in a nice, tight little bow. And I think it works well. And the only downside was that they split it and put 5 months between the two halves. Like, this is the perfect show for binging.
Interesting. My volume went down really quick there for a second. I think I caught most of what you said.
Basically, I love it.
Fair. That makes sense.
Like, this is just the perfect campiness. Like, it just feels like a show that just doesn't need to have any lessons or anything. Like, it's just, you can just watch it and enjoy yourself.
There's the volume. Sorry.
Oh, because I totally lost your video now.
Fair. I got the volume back. That works. How's that?
Nice. That's all we need. So, hell with it.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like,
yeah.
No, it's. I'm glad you really like it. I wanted to like it more than I did, I think, but I'm not gonna harp on anything.
Yeah.
I think there's weird, like, narrative things. Like, it weirdly starts like, excuse me, throwing like Arthur's sister and Overkill together, but then drops it after like 2 episodes for no reason. Like, it seems to flirt with like it wants to do this idea and maybe like to take it somewhere where it defies conventions that you would expect. Like, it's really interesting that they start like that relationship, and then he's like, I'm not sure what to do with like physical touch and stuff because I was in a abusive relationship before because he was dating a supervillain and didn't know it. But like, it never really takes it anywhere. It just kind of flops those facts out and doesn't do anything.
To me, it felt like just a long pilot. Like, they set up and if this does well, they'll expand on some of that, but this is what they got for right now.
Wow. So I'm sure it'll be back for more. I don't think it probably costs too much to make. So
yeah,
and Amazon's gonna have to. Amazon's gonna have to compete with Netflix because I guess that's the other news we skipped. Netflix announced today or yesterday that they plan on producing 700 original films and TV shows for this year.
For just this year?
For 2018. Yeah.
Huh. That's nuts. Well, a lot of what I'm seeing right now is them just buying shows and slapping their logo on the front of it, like with God Complex, Cloverfield Paradox, and then I've seen a lot of anime that like people are getting up in arms because it's not Netflix original and they're just putting it on their thing and slapping their logo on it. So it's like, but that's massive.
Whatever. If they buy it and own, even if they just buy 700 original titles and put them out, like that's a ridiculous amount of content.
Yeah, especially considering they've let a lot of their titles lapse from what they started, like how they got people in the door, it seems, and now they're just fucking betting on themselves now, and kudos to them. Like, I think the service is well worth it, so there's plenty of good shit on there, so.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Did you rewatch the first episode of Legion?
We're going to Legion right now? I don't know if I want to talk about Legion. I don't know if I want to talk about Legion.
No, let's talk about Legion.
I'm scared.
Why did you like this show so much?
Because I'm going to shut this call off when you tell me you don't like it. So I need you to tell me now.
No. Okay. I enjoy it, but I have no fucking idea what's going on.
Good. You should.
Like, because I remember texting you and, like, we've gone down this rabbit hole of, like, all these mystery shows at this point. So, like, I'm not necessarily trying to figure out what is going on, but, like, I see a trail division, and I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. And then, like, none of that shit fucking matters in 5 seconds. Like, it is such a massive whirlwind of what the fuck is happening.
Yes, but that's how you're supposed to feel, because you are...
Yeah.
You're in his headspace. This is someone who is mentally ill and doesn't know what is real and what isn't, and who's real and who isn't, and if there's voices in his head or these things are really happening. So you're meant to feel off balance and not know, just like him. So, this is someone who has spent... Well, here's the core crux of it, okay? Here's how the show is. Either he's an incredibly powerful mutant, or he's mentally ill, or he's both. Like, that's the way the show is out there right now. And it's in the beginning, it's very much of like, I don't know, and you're not supposed to. Like, even the episode ends with he has to get confirmation at the end. Like, there's this huge escape and everything, and he has to stop them and be like, is this real? He needs confirmation because he can't trust what he sees himself.
Fair. Like, so backing up, Legion was on FX last summer, right?
I think it was beginning of the year. It was like February, March, I thought.
Okay.
But I can't remember.
That makes sense. This was the kickoff of actual cable mutants. And I believe this is Xavier's son, right?
Yeah, in the comics, he's Xavier's kid. Yeah. Okay.
And they're basically just telling the story through his eyes, but at some point they're not telling it through. I don't know. The story's so massively crazy, like it's hard to grasp what's happening, and like I'm like the insanity. I feel like it's gonna drive me mad watching this show, and I'm pretty down for that.
Good. they're like, I will stand, like, when I first watched it and I was trying to sell it to my buddy, he was like, you know, fuck mutants and X-Men, I don't care. Because I was trying to get him being like, it's from Noah Hawley, who did the Fargo TV show on FX as well, which is like brilliant. And I was like, he loved it too. I was trying to get my buddy, and he's like, fuck X-Men, they're the worst, I hate it. And I was like, watch it, because there is, in every episode, there's something you've never seen before. Like, it's just different, be it in how it tells its story or weird scenes or what have you. Like, there's always something new and fresh, and it's worth watching because of that. Like, you know, in this episode, there's a fucking Bollywood dance sequence in the middle of this, you know?
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, I'm anxious for the show, how anxious I was for American Gods. Like, it's got me so anxious to get to the next episode, but I know you want to watch this episode by episode, so we have time to digest, because what you just said is, like, I'm looking forward to seeing all these little nuances and things they do differently in every episode. So
yeah, no, it's so good. It's I'm so excited to get in some of the later episodes. Oh man, dude, by the time fucking Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords shows up, show just becomes something else.
Oh man, that's fucking dope.
But you know, and like
Aubrey Plaza is one of your like favorite actresses, isn't she?
Yeah, I love Aubrey Plaza, and she's so good in the show. Like, if you walk away with nothing else from it, you'll be like, Aubrey Plaza fucking amazing in this show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's basically the first one. Like, they escape from this facility and escape from another. I don't know. It's insanity. It's pure insanity. But this is got me excited for mutants in a way that Inhumans and Gifted never quite hit.
Yeah, you know, like, Gifted could come out and be like, in the first episode, be like, the X-Men told us to do this. I was like, ha, cool. And this is something where it's like, we'll use the word mutant, and they're in this world and shit, but it's so far at the edge that you can't even try and connect them, you know? Yeah. Excuse me. It's so good. I'm so excited.
I'm down. I'm excited. I'm excited that this is going to be leading into season 2. So, like, there's going to be very little breathing room.
Exactly.
But that being said, the main actor is phenomenal. Like, I wish he would have been Iron Fist. Like, this guy is has got some chops on him. So
yeah, I mean, I've always liked him too. Like, he was good in Downton Abbey, and he's in this great little movie I love called The Guest. And I don't know, he was Beast in Beauty and the Beast, but I didn't see that, so I guess I don't know. But like, and like, does a great American accent considering he's British. Like, yeah, he's really good.
I would have never guessed until you just said that.
Yeah, like, he's really good. Aubrey Plaza is really good. The chick who plays Sid is really good, and like, the cast just keeps kind of growing from there. But yeah, I mean, just the way, you know, everything works in the show for me, I guess. I don't know, like, the stuff where, like,
it's great that you're untrusting of what he's saying, but at the same point, the information that he's giving you may not be even close to reliable. So you have no idea where you are at any point.
Exactly. You know, even like when they're in the interrogation room and he's kind of like saying how it all worked up to this, and they take a break, and the agent like walks outside, and you realize, like, oh no, like, they're in this huge, heavily guarded room, and this guy's like, we should kill him before he finds out how powerful he is. There is like the turning point where you go, okay, he's actually powerful. He is a mutant of some sort. But like, that's halfway through the episode before they try and even give you that little little nugget to hold on to because you're so adrift in this story. You know, there's shit I love in it, like the scene where they swap bodies and like all the inmates are surrounding her and David's body screaming at her is the exact kind of composition as the images of when like the people in the street were screaming at him as a kid voices out. Like it's a direct parallel between them. Plus, like, you know, it shows like his consciousness, like it's him laying in a field with all his memories projected on flat screen TVs in this field. It's just like super cool imagery and weird aesthetics, and it's funny. The show actually has a sense of humor too, which The Gifted did not have.
Yeah, for sure. I think the most impressive part for me was how much they showed, because you don't get a sense of where you are. Like, it's so discombobulating, all the information you're given, because it almost feels like the dialogue and what they're showing is in complete opposition to each other. Yeah.
And even it's not even that. It's the fact that, like, you know, everyone looks like they're dressed in the 60s, but like you see like technology that's a little more advanced than even what we have now. So like those are fighting each other, and like like the mental hospital. Does it really look like that, or is it like that his fantasized version of it that he's made in his head to make it more bearable? You know, it's like there's a lot of innocuous little things that makes the whole show feel off kilter, which again, like I said, you're putting yourself in his mind frame, so it should be that way.
Yeah, I'm excited for the ride, so start watching Legion if you haven't, because it's going to be a wild trip.
It's really good.
How excited are you about Mosaic?
That's an interesting question. Because I feel it ended the way I thought it would, but that ending isn't really satisfying, because the ending is, in things like this, there is no kind of clear, definitive, we caught the bad guy. You know, it's very up in the air, and no one really has all the pieces regardless. Which I think was smart in the way that the show went from like first couple episodes with these characters, then these characters, then these characters, because everyone sees it from a different way and takes things differently and has different pieces. You know, because in the end, I mean, it would make a lot of sense that you know, like those creepy dudes up in the mountain killed her, but like there's so much evidence against Joel that I can't deny that he probably did it.
The one thing that I keep harping on is, I think it was the second episode that we see Joel get into a fight at the bar. So it doesn't seem like he was able to be in the other area, but then he's hiding that evidence. So it's like, it's so... I feel like we don't even have all the pieces yet, but they have given us enough to know the story.
Yeah, and I think in the end, it's definitely saying, like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is the characters and what happens to them all. And
it almost feels like this little thing that happened to her doesn't detract from her legacy, which was so much more than anyone around her could have even attempted to tear down. Which was a cool message, but that last episode is so unsatisfying.
Yeah,
like, I went in so pumped up thinking I was going to get something different. But in the end, it kind of wrapped up how I figured it would.
Yeah, but I think that's the point they were getting, is that there is no clear. It's probably some weird... Yeah, I mean, you know, those dudes were probably doing some shady shit to try and get her land, but like, I don't think they killed her. I think that they had enough weird shit going on and were probably doing some shady shit that they were willing to pay that sister off had Joel not confessed to the murder at that point. But I can't get over the fact that, like, you know, a piece of Joel's ice scraper was found on the body. Like, that's such a hard piece of evidence to fight.
Fucking amen. The 5th episode, though, fucking Biff from Home Alone, phenomenal job. Like, that was my favorite episode by far. Like, him just being catapulted into this limelight that he wasn't ready for, and then just stepping up to the plate and doing what he needed to. Like, I think he got me so amped up for that final episode, and like just nobody hit it out of the park for that last episode that it kind of just let me down.
Sure.
Not necessarily in a bad way. Like I think I kind of want to come back to this later down the road, but after that 5th episode, I opened up the Mosaic app and like how everything's kind of jumbled, it kind of sorts it out in a better way. Like it kind of just takes the clips and puts it in a traditional chronological order, and like a few of the first couple episodes show Biff from Back to the Future. Like it really paints him as the killer, and it's like, fuck, I can't go any further because I don't want to spoil episode 6 if it is him. And like it turned out that it wasn't, but he had every motive to do it. So like he had more motive to do it than anybody else in the show, just from like 2-3 minute clips, which was maddening.
Interesting. Yeah, I knew they were trying to make some big multimedia affair out of this, but I heard like the app shit was just bad, so I stayed away from it.
Yeah, I mean, it literally just cut apart the episodes and put the scenes in order. So, yeah,
whatever.
So maybe you get satisfaction from knowing who actually did it, but like that fucking ice scraper is just so much of a misnomer that like.
The one thing I have a question about that I think I missed something apparently. The fuck was up with that, like the arrow symbol? Like the one girl had it tattooed on her neck and one had it on her arm, and it was on like a bumper sticker on a car, and
no idea.
Fair enough. I was like, did I miss something?
I almost think it was maybe a Mosaic symbol. Like these are people that were still doing Olivia Lake's like legacy stuff, and like it felt like that was the Mosaic. I don't know, trying to find information out for them, type of thing. But yeah, I don't think it ever touched on it. Like it just kept showing it.
There's that really, because like it had been in a couple episodes before, and it had made a point of like the sister was like staring at the girl who had the neck tattoo for a long time in the one episode, like just trying to like drive home that it was something. And I think it was episode 6 when like that reporter from the college came to her door, and she was like, I can't talk right now, and leaves. And it hangs on the reporter for a long time as like she writes a note, and it's like really ominous music, and you can see the tattoo, but then nothing comes of it. Yeah, it's weird. I don't quite know what they were doing with that.
So I like that HBO took a chance on it like this. Was this ever on TV, or was it just on the apps?
I'm sure it aired on HBO, but I know they dropped all the episodes at once, so I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's why it was weird to me, because I don't think they've ever done something like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you have HBO on through your cable, they have a demand service. I imagine it would just on demand, watch them all, but I don't know.
That's all I got for Mosaic, I guess.
I really liked it. I think it's something I would have liked a lot more had we binged it as opposed to doing it week by week.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have been able to binge it. I think with everything that we set up with the murder mysteries, like, I feel like giving it room to think about it. But then again, this kind of seems like HBO's MO, where they put together a good show, but if you do think about it for too long, like, little things start to eat at you like this. So I don't know.
Excuse me.
Saying that, I think binging was probably a better way to go about it then.
Yeah, even if it was like in two halves, like 3 episodes and 3 episodes, I think I would have enjoyed it more. Because like I kind of lost steam with it by the end of week 5 or whatever. So
yeah. So I don't know. I think I'll check it out again down the road, but I think I'm just gonna send it out for now. But so that brings us to the last one, and Mute. What'd you think of that?
It's really bad. Like, it is so bad.
I fucking knew you were gonna say that. I really fucking loved it.
It's just no.
How did you? Okay,
No.
so like, hang on a second. I feel like this is the same thing we had with Paradox. So let me say why I liked it beforehand, and then you could tell me about all the nuances and shit you hate. Okay. So I literally just got done watching it, so this is fresh in my mind. I think it was, for me, having a character that's so strong and intimidating, but also weak and vulnerable because he can't express his anything to the outside world, and like he has to have this stoic, almost demeanor, and then everything falling around him. Like, this felt like what you were saying with Altered Carbon, where there was too much. Like, it felt like this was just the right amount of story for what they wanted to fill out with. A couple things, like, it didn't quite register with me that Bill and Nandi were together. Like, that felt really coerced, and at some point it felt like his friend had almost kidnapped her and killed her. But like, yeah, I think the way everything like interwoven and like told the story, and he did all this detective work to get to the next point, I really just enjoyed. Like, this felt like a very realistic future, like in between now and like what 2049 would be. Like, this is the start of where billboards are everywhere and tech is such a high level in everybody's life. And then you have this like outsider that kind of has to deal with technology to solve this whole case thing. Now it's your turn.
Okay, I think where do I want to start? I think Skarsgård is incredibly wooden, and taking away his voice absolutely kills his performance. I think when you compare it to something like Sally Hawkins in Shape of Water, who is so expressive while playing a mute person, whereas he gets nothing across, it makes him seem stoic, but I don't think he is. I think he's actually just he can't convey that without language. So it's kind of a slog whenever you have to spend half the movie with him. 2, like, if you want to if you want to make a movie set in the future, cool, but at one point we gotta quit sucking off Blade Runner, because like at this point everything looks the same and nothing's interesting about that anymore. Especially at this point where like at no point during the film would I have guessed that was Berlin outside of them saying it's Berlin. Like it, there's no way to tell where like that could have been fucking New York. It could have been LA. It could have been Tokyo. Could have been Toronto. There's no way that you got to show me how these, because Berlin in its essence isn't going to go away. The stuff's just going to build around it. So you got to kind of show me that. And especially on something like this where it didn't have a budget and they're already limiting themselves in the way they can show it. Bunch of neon signs probably isn't the way to go, because I've seen that for the past 30 years at this point in sci-fi movies. I think there's two stories running, the story of Leo and then the story of Cactus Bill, and until they converge at the end, neither one of them I feel has any like right to be a movie. Like the detective stuff from Leo is just so like it's so standard like noir that like it doesn't do anything interesting. I think the fact that Duncan Jones has said that this movie wasn't supposed to be a sci-fi movie, it was just going to be a movie, and then they worked sci-fi stuff into it. You can tell because like at no point does like Leo's Amish heritage make any sense except for a reason for him not to be able to deal with technology. Whereas I think that's an interesting thread. Like, yeah, show me that we built into this like technologically advanced as we are now. Like, how do like the Amish people go? Like, how do they fit into this universe? That's an interesting way to tell a sci-fi story.
It's also very odd thinking about that point, because if he was Amish, it's hard to figure that he would have made his way into the army.
Yeah. So and then like then we get into fucking Cactus Bill storyline, and like there's some real big discrepancies in that story where it gets dark real quick.
And just fucking stays there too.
But I don't believe I don't believe these character interactions to the point where like he comes into Duck's office and finds evidence that Duck is a sexual predator towards little children and is filming them. And he's like, I'll fucking kill you. I'll break your arms. Don't come near my daughter. Hang on, I got a phone call. Oh, I got my papers. Let's go to the mall and celebrate. Like, you were just going to kill this guy for being a pedophile. Like, it's so...
Yeah.
It's whiplashy. I don't know. I think there's germs of something that could have been good in there, but...
Yeah.
And I wonder if the problem isn't... Especially, like, something like this where Jones has been trying to get this made since before his first movie. Like, these passion projects become, like, these unwieldy things that you probably need someone to help you shape them. And I think Netflix probably isn't the person who's giving you studio notes. I think they're kind of like, here's your budget, go make us a movie. And
yeah, I feel like that.
I think that probably hurt it in a sense. But yeah, I mean, it's a grimy, dirty movie with like, I don't think it justifies me spending 2 hours in that world.
I could see this movie getting put together down the road a lot bit better, like taking all the good parts and making them work. All your points are valid. Like, I think love those little bits that work so well. And for me, seeing I can't remember his vampire name. Was it? It wasn't Vampire Bill, but like he was such an intimidating force on that on True Blood, and to have him so seemingly doe-eyed and like vulnerable because he can't speak and communicate. Like I don't know. That part of the story intrigues me too much to like. I think they could have done some really cool things with that, and like I get caught up in the things that could have been, I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
Plus,
I really fucking dug it.
When like 20 minutes in and he gets smashed in the face with a bar stool, I was expecting him to have fucking like the nose bandage like Gosling all through 2049. I was like, just keep ripping off Blade Runner. Let's just do this, guys.
You know, people break their noses in other movies, right?
Yeah, but not in this weird technologically sci-fi advanced scape.
Do you know how long it took to make this movie?
Like production wise, or how long he's been working on it?
Like, because I know God Particle was in production for like 2 years or so, but like this felt like it was pretty streamlined and like done in a month
I
or
think
so.
that's because this was Netflix. Like Cloverfield just got bought by Paramount after Paramount didn't know what to do with it. Like this was Netflix gave Jones the money to go make it. What Warcraft came out 2 years ago? Is this one right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was Jones's last movie, so it hasn't been more than go from that to this.
Yeah.
Plus, let me put this out there. Like, I love Moon. Like, I think that's a brilliant sci-fi film. But like that little fucking like the nods to it in this movie could have ate my dick. Like, I was like, fuck off. You're
that was another great part. I was like, oh my god, yes. Oh, that's those guys. I love that shit.
I was like, oh, it's all them Sam Rockwell clones. You're making me want to watch a better movie that you've made. That's not what you want to do when you make a movie. That's not like
I feel very much like
what? No, it's like if Francis Ford Coppola was making Dracula and like it cut to a scene from The Godfather. Like that's what the equivalent is.
That being said, I could totally see them making a third movie like Cloverfield did and like tying it to this world and me loving it again and you fucking hating it. Because I think there's something about building a world like that. Like, it's interesting to think that this movie takes place after Moon, where like they're advanced enough to the point where they're just completely ripping it apart for the Earth. So it's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I was very sad when I watched that movie.
Well, because I mean, you were a big fan of Moon, weren't you?
Yeah, I love Moon, but like, I mean, I was just sad watching it because like, I like most of the people in it, but I was like, you're all gross and dirty, and I don't want to watch this. And like, no, Justin Theroux, I don't want to see you play a child molester, and I don't want to see like Paul Rudd being like this terrible absentee father, fucking pulling bullet wounds out of people. And
yeah, there's a fair amount that could be chopped up and done better. But I think the mute heroine solving this mystery, just I dug that. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen because there were little nuances that you had to see rather than hear. So
I don't know. I think it's kind of ham-fisted. Like, come on, dude. We live in the society of this world where like all this technology's there, but like you have to speak. You can't enter your phone number. He's like, trying to order food, and they're like, speak it. You need to speak. Oh, he's such an outsider because he can't talk. Like, it's like, come on, guys.
But I mean, the technology is there to give him a voice box. But I mean, this is Amish history.
Yes. I don't care like where we get in technology. A surgery that repairs a vital part of your body isn't going to be like an optional thing, like monetarily.
Also, I feel this movie went just 5 minutes too long. I think if it would have just left him by the tree, and like,
well, no, because
his brother finding him, I was like, fuck, that's some devastating shit. Because like, the knife he carried around all movie was his undoing, and then because he wanted to make a better life for his daughter and took her mother away, relegated his daughter to have maybe the most terrible life ever.
Yeah, guess what? I don't care how dark this movie's going, it's not going to end with an innocent child being in the hands of a pedophile. Like, there's no way that movie would get made. Plus, Guess what? If it ended there, we wouldn't have got the payoff to look at Alexander Skarsgård and how long he can hold his breath. Because they played that fucking thorough line through fucking 2 hours till right at the end.
That's good stuff. You gotta calm down your heart and make sure you just take in the world.
You gotta take a deep breath and just take a big old glass of water down.
It was funny because this movie hit on so many small notes of the things we've watched this year so far. Like the mute from Shape of Water, the innocent kid at the end, like from Crocodile, the episode of Black Mirror, Blade Runner, obviously, but like it felt like a very subdued, Altered Carbon. Like, it was ridiculous how much stuff matched. It felt like a cut up piece of like all those things. It felt like one of those ransom notes where they just take letters from different magazines and put together.
Exactly.
Like, that's what this movie felt like.
Then there's a point where like movies shouldn't feel like that. They should feel original. I shouldn't be able to go, this is like from here and this is from like here, and even if there are no correlations.
Uh-oh, I think I lost you.
You got to be.
So. You got to say that again. That didn't come through.
Yeah, apparently someone tried calling me. So yeah, you're right.
I don't know. The creator in me likes the idea of adapting different ideas and morphing them to your own. But at the end of the day, like you said, like this felt. It feels a little flat, but at the same time, I think that was his intention. But I could definitely see these pieces being worked on and make a better movie down the road, though.
Yeah, good for you.
Without the Predator stuff, that was
Predator. Oh, sexual predator.
more Predators. It definitely needed more Predators.
I think I'm just like. I think I'm done with sci-fi for a while. Like, I've reached the limits of it.
Well, do we have any more sci-fi, like, coming up? Really?
I hope not.
I mean, besides Pacific Rim, because we're all excited about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, what are we watching for next week? We're watching the second episode of Legion. Alien Nest, Black Lightning, the regulars. Then we're going to talk Game Night, because you're going to see it. Annihilation, because I'm going to see it. And then Death Wish and Red Sparrow, right?
Hopefully. I mean, I've seen Annihilation, so that's all I need to care. I literally was like, today I was like, I'll see Game Night, and you're like, it's fine, we don't need to talk about it. Now you're throwing it on me again, so I don't know. We'll see. For sure, I'm going to catch Red Sparrow.
It's fun. It's fun.
Plus, Sunday night is the Oscars, so I'm sure we'll have something to say coming out of that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think we're still gonna have to deal with sci-fi, but hopefully we'll cherry pick the better sci-fi coming out. That will both
Although
agree
I guess,
awesome.
although I guess Annihilation technically is sci-fi-ish, so
Yeah. You're not
that's
gonna be able to get
one.
away from it yet. Also, we got all of Legion, so I mean, we are hitting the high notes right now.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
interesting.
there's any other cyberpunk coming out, right? Really, is there?
I
Oh,
hope
fucking
not.
Ready Player One.
Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. It's gonna make it even worse.
Ready Player One, Wrinkle in Time, all of the sci-fi.
No, I'm excited for next week because I feel our Annihilation talk is going to be similar to our Mother talk.
I'm excited. I've seen very little about it, but I'm pumped. I was willing to drive 3 hours to see it, but it's coming to a closer theater, so I got out of it for this week. Definitely seeing it for next week. So watch all that shit and join us on Monday.
Yeah, Monday's going to be a shit show. I'm just say that right now.
Pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about it.
Because like I said, I've seen Annihilation already, and then like everything I'm hearing about Death Wish, Red Sparrow, it's going to be an interesting show.
It certainly is. So we will catch you Monday night on Twitch, 8 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central. Yeah, and we'll do that. I see Jan made it to the chat, so you're gonna have to rewatch this if you didn't jump in the beginning. So we'll catch you then.
Peace. I hate everything.
Oh, you do not.